hello, everyone. Welcome to today. Welcome to another day of Soul Sunday. And welcome to our February Love Challenge. Today we are in week 3 of our Love Challenge. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. Let me know who is tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And let's just open up our heart. And let's just share for today. What is one thing that you love? What is one thing that you love? Put that in the chat. And let me know if this is your first time here with me, if you've been with me before. I am so grateful to be here with each and every single one of you. My name is Genna Rose Giannetti Kendall, and I help people to heal from heartbreak and to awaken to unconditional love. Sound is not good. Okay, let's try again. Okay, how's the sound now? Can you hear me now, Kat? How's that? Not good. Anyone else? Let me know how the sound is in your end. Lots of echoes. How about now? How's the sound now? Anything? Is it better now? Okay, hold on. Okay, how about now? Is it good? Yes, good? Okay, good. Well, hello, and I'm going to just start all of that all over again now. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Soul Sunday. And we are in our third week of our Love Challenge. Oh, no. I'm glad we fixed it. I'm glad I'm no longer RoboCop. We are in our third week of our Love Challenge. And I love. Let me know if this is your first time tuning in with me. If this is your first time, put new. If you are returning, put returning. Let me just see where everyone is at. Welcome, Conchenda. Welcome, Rebecca. Welcome, Kat. Welcome, everyone. Well, my name is Genna Rose Giannetti Kendall, and I help people to heal their heart and to awaken to unconditional love. I help people to tap into their spiritual essence and to awaken back into the heart place, to awaken into love. This looks different depending on who I am serving, but this looks a lot like what we're going to talk about today is unconditional love. This looks like connecting back into spirit, to our essence, to our soul. This looks like doing inner child work. This looks like helping couples to navigate relationship challenges. This looks like helping people to navigate through traumas and past pains that they've experienced. This looks like a whole bunch of stuff. And so I love love. I truly believe that love is who we are. Love is who we've always been. Love is who we always will be. I believe to the core of my soul, the core of my beingness, that love is not something we give. Love is not something we receive. Love is not something we do. Love is who we are at core. That essence of God, Goddess, Spirit, Universe, that we call to, that we talk to, that we speak to. That energy is love. And when we are being in our authentic love that we are, meaning our authentic self, when we are showing up as we are, completely, fully, freely, authentically, then we are being love. We are being in our love. And when we are being in our love, we can then naturally give love. And we naturally attract love. And we naturally act in ways of love. And so I am on a huge mission. I am on a mission to awaken the world back to unconditional love. I truly believe that this is the solution to everything on on this planet. And I'm excited to be here as always. And so I invite you guys to please comment. I invite you guys to talk to me. I invite you to just dialogue with me. Please take what resonates. Please throw away what doesn't resonate. If it feels good to you, take it as your own. Take it through your day. If it doesn't feel good to you, I invite you to just feel into it, to just sit with it, to see if there's any messages or any wisdom in it. And if it still doesn't feel good, throw it away. There's no one truth. There's many truths. And so I'm just grateful for you guys to be here today. So please put in the chat, what is one thing that you love? What is one thing that you love? Yes, love surrounds me and everyone, absolutely. And so I just want to give a little warning to you guys. So I am a mama. I have a little 9-month-old baby boy, and he is not feeling good today. His tummy is all over the place today. He's with my husband currently. My husband's amazing, and he's taking care of him. But I want to put that out there because if he needs his mama, I wouldn't be a good love coach if I didn't provide for my love of my son first. So if, I hear him really hysterically crying and he needs his mama, I'm going to have to end the live early and we'll pick up next week. So I just want to throw that out there. But my husband's capable. My husband's amazing. He can do it. But I just want to put that out there. So let me know, what is it that you love? What is it that you love? Put it in the chat. And so this is how today's going to work. I'm going to drop us into presence real quickly. And then I'm going to give our talk today, which is all about unconditional love. So this is our third week in our love challenge in love month. Let me know if you were here last week and if you were here the week before. Every week I have been challenging a different idea of love. And so we're going to talk about that. Each one builds on each other. And then today we are tapping into unconditional love. And we are tapping into external love for others. So, before we begin, I'm going to invite you guys to just, if you are in a place where you can just sit quietly for just a moment, we won't be here long. But I invite you to just close down your eyes. And I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose. And I invite you to take a deep breath out through your mouth. And allow yourself to really just ground into this moment. Allow yourself to release by just saying out loud or internally, release, release, release. And let go of anything that happened before this moment. This in itself, this release exercise is a powerful tool that you can use at any moment when you're transitioning from one moment to the next moment. To let go of the energy, to let go of the feelings, to change the framing of your life. So I invite you to just say internally or externally, release, release, release. And then stay into this moment, finding quietness, finding stillness, finding love. And coming into your heart now, feeling into the beating of your heart. Breathing into this energy of love. And setting your intention as a consciousness today, as a collective, our intention is to tap into unconditional love. Love for other. By tapping into true stillness and presence. Self-love. And then unconditional love for external. And then set your individual intention. And imagine now that there's this warm crystalline light shining above you and around you like the sun itself. And imagine and activate now that this light is the light of love, that this itself is the energy of love. This is the meaning of love. This is love. And breathing into this light of love and allowing this light to fill up your whole entire being of your body, your soul, your mind, your spirit with this energy of love from the crown of your head, breathing down into the soles of your feet, igniting every atom, every cell, every molecule to love. Breathe into this love, feeling so loved, feeling so wanted, feeling so chosen. Activating this love from source, this love for spirit to fill you. Then activating self-love, bringing into your awareness something that you love about yourself. And then finally, imagine that you are this love. And imagine that we are gathered today, all of us, everyone that's here, everyone that's on the live, everyone that will watch this later on my podcast, on Insight Time, or on Instagram. Not Instagram, on YouTube. Everyone that will watch this later, listen to this later. And send this love out to them. And feel this love coming back. Igniting this currency of breathing love in and exhaling love out. Breathing love in and exhaling love out. Cultivating a cycle of love. Love from others. Love into ourselves. Love back out to other. Love from other. Love into ourselves. Love back out to other. Love from source. Love to self. Love to other. Love back to ourselves. And breathe in. And breathe out. And taking 2 more deep breaths. And then when you're ready, coming back into the space. Coming back into the space with love, with light. And then when you're ready, opening up your eyes. Noticing what you can see. Noticing what you can feel. Noticing what you can taste. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. And I would love to invite you guys to just type I love you in the chat. And as you type I love you, you are saying I love spirit. I love self. I love other. So every I love you that you see is someone telling you they love you. Every I love you you see is you loving yourself. Every I love you you see is spirit telling you they love you. I love you, Taylor. I love you, Salvatore. I love you, Vincenza. I love you, Rebecca. I love you, Kat. I love you, Levi. I love you, Diana. I love you, Sadie. I love you. I'm clicking through. I love you, Aaron. I love everyone that's here. I love you, Maxine. If I didn't say I love you, it's because I can't see your picture. But I still love you. So again, welcome, everyone. If you're just tuning in, I am Genna Rose Giannetti Kendall, and I am on a mission of unconditional love. So, it is week 3 of our love challenge. Welcome to our love challenge. And so, who was here week 1? Who was here week 2? Put it in the chat. So, week 1, we talked all about stillness and presence. We spoke about the first step in cultivating love. is to first be in oneness with self. So often in our lives, it is so easy for us to love the things about ourselves that we like, right? We can say, I love my eyes. I love my funny personality. I love my, confidence, right? We can point to all of these things we like about ourselves, we love about ourselves, and we can say, I love that, right? But it's even more difficult, it's even more challenging to look in the mirror and see the places where we're falling from grace, to look in the mirror and to see the things that we don't prefer about ourselves, to look in the mirror and see the things that we don't like about ourselves, to look in the mirror and see our darkness and to face our shadow and to still stare at ourselves in the mirror and still say, I love you. It's easy for us to love ourselves when we're being kind, but it's harder to love ourselves when we just were unkind, when we were just judgmental, when we were rude, when we raised our voice or we fell from grace. And so week 1 was all about facing these aspects of ourselves. Week 1, I challenged you to sit in stillness for 30 minutes a day without distraction, without music, without the TV, without people presence, to really get to know oneself. Because only in being alone with oneself can you truly know oneself, love oneself, and know another. And so I still invite you guys to keep up with that challenge, because there's something beautiful in being in stillness and being in silence, to being in the quietness of yourself, to know yourself, to then love yourself. And to what happens when you're in stillness is these voices start to creep up on you. Your thoughts start to creep up. All of your woes and your worries and your fears and your anger and your regrets and your traumas, they start to creep up on you. And many people feel being alone because it forces them to face themselves finally. And so the first step in cultivating love is to face yourself. To, so often in this consciousness community, we talk about positive affirmation, right? We talk about raising our vibration and being positive and being happy and saying affirmations of I love myself and I love you and I'm so beautiful and I'm kind. And we think about whenever there's a negative, switch it to a positive. And I invite you that while that is good, and I do believe in that, to acknowledge the negative voices in our head, to be able to sit with those negative voices, to be able to sit in our darkness, to face our darkness, and to become friends with our darkness. And so, I'm sorry, I lost my little boy's crying. I apologize. I may or may not have to leave early because I hear him crying downstairs. But what I was saying is, only in loving, the first step in love is to be able to face our darkness and to be able to not just love the things that we like about ourselves, but to also make friends with the things we do not prefer, and to recognize that those aspects of ourselves that we do not prefer about ourselves, those parts of ourselves that may be critical or maybe judgmental or maybe angry, are there because they serve us. And the reason in which they serve us is because there was a point in our history, there was a point in our past where we learned to judge, for example, judgment, to keep us safe. You learned that your anger, that when you got really, really angry, when you're really, really angry, it shows you what you do prefer. It means that you stand for something. It means that you believe in something. And every time you get angry at something, it's another way of saying, I love that. I love that. I don't love this, but I love that. And so I'm getting angry. And so all of these negative aspects of ourselves, these shadow aspects of ourselves, are keeping us safe. They're keeping us protected. They're protecting our inner child that didn't yet know how to walk about the world. And so when we come at these shadow aspects of ourselves from this place of recognizing that it kept us safe, we can then start to love those parts of ourselves, and we then can start to make peace with those parts of ourselves. So that was week 1. In long rant, that was week 1. So let me know, are you still with me? Put in the chat, resonating. Let me know if this is resonating. Give me some hearts, give me some comments. Let me know if that landed. Put landing in the chat if that landed. If you're confused, put confused in the chat. Okay, so that was week 1. Week 2 was all about self-love. So it intertwined with what we talked about of this presence of stillness, but it went deeper into loving self and recognizing that before we can love anyone else, we have to first completely love ourselves. And the reason in which we have chaos with other people, the reason in which we have conflict with other people, is because everyone outside of us is a projection screen of us. They are a mirror to our soul. Each and every single one of us is a soul. You are not a human with a soul, but you are a soul that has a human body. And so each and every single one of us and all of our relationships, the reason that relationships are so challenging, the reason that our partnerships and the people that we're married to and our families are often the most challenging relationships, but also the most rewarding relationships, is because they're the biggest meal to our soul. They are mirroring to us every aspect of us. They are mirroring to us all of the things that we love about ourselves, and they are mirroring to us all the things that we do not prefer about ourselves. And so we have to first be able to know thyself, to then love ourselves and all that we are, and to fully embrace our authenticity without apology. And so often people are unable to do this. You know, I feel like, especially here in the US, we have this culture, and I'm guilty of this, of constantly saying, I'm sorry. Do I have any like impulsive I'm sorry people who, like, no matter what you do, you're like, I'm sorry. You know, you're walking through a grocery store and there's someone on the other side of the aisle as you, and you didn't even bump into them, but you're just not, you're like, I'm sorry, I'm walking past you, right? Or like you're standing in line, you know, and you're like, I'm sorry. Or you accidentally bump into someone, you're like, I'm sorry. Like, it's like, or you go to explain yourself, right? And you like go to tell someone how you feel. Like, for example, let's say that like you're feeling sad and you say, you started off with, I'm sorry to tell you, but I'm sad today. And we have this like over culture of saying, I'm sorry. And that I'm sorry is a trauma response. It's a trauma response from our past that said we're not good enough. And so I am here to challenge all of you guys to live unapologetically, authentically yourself. To love yourself so authentically that even the things that people prefer not about you, that you can stand in that aspect of yourself. And that's true self-love. And so that was week 2. So week 2, I challenged you to really be with yourself and to really see you that you are as an aspect of everyone else, and that everyone outside of you is an aspect of you. And I challenged you to take yourself out on a date. Did anyone do this? Was anyone here week 1 and week 2 and did the challenge? So week 2, I challenged you to actually give yourself self-love. I challenged you to take yourself out on a date. I challenged you to write yourself a love letter. I challenged you to gift yourself something. Because before we can do that for anyone else, we have to first do that for ourselves. So that was week 2. This was all summarizing. So let me know if that's still landing. So now, week 3. Week 3 is all about unconditional love. This is where we're at today. And this is all about external love. And so before we can love anyone else, I keep saying this, I'm going to say it again. We have to first be able to love ourselves, because everyone is us. Everyone outside of us is a projection screen, a mirror to our soul, to our spirit. This life that we live is nothing more than a movie that we are watching. We are dreaming. This is my belief that we are dreaming this reality. And so every relationship outside of us is a reflection of us. And that's often why there's chaos. And so if we don't first love ourselves, if we have self-hatred for ourselves, then we are going to attract other people and we are going to have hatred for them. We are going to have judgments for them. We are going to have fear for them. And so first step is loving self. There is a connection. And when we honor our own needs, when we honor our own healing, we create this space of genuine care for others. We've all heard the expression that if you're on an airplane, you have to put your oxygen mask on before you help someone else. And so some ways to cultivate this unconditional love. I keep giving this example every week because I feel like it's, really powerful in what's going on as a culture right now. But anyone in the U.S., or even if you're not in the U.S., President Trump is a hot button. And people either love Trump or people either hate Trump. And the reason that, in my belief, that Trump is such a hot topic, that so many people struggle with not being in unconditional love for someone like Trump or anyone, or people who kill people, or people who murder people, or people who rape people, or people who dance around the street naked. Whatever. There's always a reason that people don't love people, is because those people often are acting in a way that is their authentic self, that violates one's own belief of their own self-love for themselves. That was a big thing. Let me know if that resonated. And so often we have these beliefs, we have these truths of what we believe is acts of love within ourselves. And if anyone outside of us acts in a way that is not in resonance with what we define as love for ourselves, we automatically have this hot button that says, I don't love them, or they're not worthy of love. And that very feeling, that very belief system that someone's not worthy of love or someone's not deserving of love is our own internal wound, that we are not worthy of love, that we are not deserving of love. Again, I expressed before, but this judgment that we often carry keeps us safe. And so if everyone is a meal to our soul, and everyone, hold on, let me pause for a minute. I got a little sidetracked. Okay, this is where I want to go with this. It is possible for you to love everyone unconditionally. And I would love to see where you guys are at with that. I would love for you to put in the chat right now. Do you believe, honestly, openly, do you believe that it's possible for you to unconditionally love everyone? Yes or no in the chat. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. So I do too. And I believe that the way in which we can love people unconditionally, the way in which you can love people as unconditionally as you love your child, is by seeing everyone as an aspect of source, an aspect of spirit, an aspect of you, an aspect of the divine oneness. And when you can see that everyone outside of you is you, everyone outside of you is just has this inner child, this little self that is helpless and vulnerable and unknowledgeable about how the world works. it helps us to tap into this energy of unconditional love for others. And so while you may look at someone and you may not like who they are as a person, it is my promise that you can unconditionally love them. And one of the steps that you can take to start to love people unconditionally is by finding one thing, just one thing that you can love about them. You might look at someone who is an abuser. You might look at someone who's unkind. You may look at someone who treats people badly. And you can still unconditionally love them by finding one thing that you like about them, one thing that you love about them. So even if it's, again, let's go back to the Trump analogy. Even if you say, I can't love Trump, you can maybe love the suit that he's wearing. You can love and recognize that he's on a mission, right? Or let's take an even bigger, a even bigger thing, right? Let's talk about Hitler, because that's a big one, right? I think we can all openly acknowledge that no one here would say that they love Hitler. And I want to challenge you to love Hitler. Not because of what he did, because we can all agree that what he did was horrible and unkind and unjust and unloving. But you can say that maybe you can see that he was confident. Maybe he was confident. Maybe he was courageous. Maybe he was a leader. Maybe just take a leader. Like, I don't like how he led. I don't agree with how he led. I don't appreciate how he led. I don't like what he did. But I love a leader. And I recognize that he was a leader. And so I can love that one aspect of him. And when you can say, I love the only aspect, the one aspect of that, then you can tap into that energy of, I love unconditionally. Because the truth is, someone's presence, and this is my most known quote, my most spoken quote, feel free to use it, is love is unconditional. But someone's presence in our reality is conditional if it interferes with our own level of self-love for ourselves. So what that means is that love is nothing more than an energy. Love is an energy, and as Newton's first law of physics stated, love can neither be created or destroyed. Energy can neither be created or destroyed. And so let's switch it up to, so often we go through breakups or we go through uncouplings. And, again, I'm a relationship coach. I'm a love coach. And I hear so many people come to me because they break up with their partners and they say, I don't love them anymore. And I don't believe that we ever can stop loving anyone. Love is who we are. And when you decide to stop loving someone, what you're doing is cutting yourself off from your very own love for yourself. And so if you are someone who can look back in your past and say, I no longer love that ex-partner of mine, then I would like to tell you that you do. And what proves it is love and energy. It's basic chemistry. It first starts off, love first starts as, this salad where you want to constantly be together and you constantly want to be united with each other and you constantly want to be with them, right? And then you get into a relationship and then that love becomes more like a liquid and it comes and it goes and it moves like a river. And then what happens is you go through this breakup, you go through this uncoupling, and this love that you have for them is no longer this constant state. It's no longer this thing that you think about all the time. Maybe you're married to someone else now and you have kids and you're not thinking about this ex-partner anymore constantly. But that love that you have for them will come back when you hear your love song on the radio, or you will smell the cologne that they used to wear, or you will drive past a place that you went on the first date, and that love that you once had will come back. Because love is unconditional, because love is nothing more than energy, and because Newton's first law of physics says energy is neither created or destroyed, love is always unconditional. But the minute that your love for someone, the minute that you are loving someone more than yourself, and it interferes with your own level of self-love for yourself, that's when you choose, I'm going to love you unconditionally, but you're no longer going to be present in my reality. And so I'm going to give you an example real quick. So I am now married. I have an amazing husband. I have an amazing son. I have an amazing family. I'm extremely happy. And years ago, before I was married, I found myself back when I was, God, how old was I? It was my 25th birthday. I finally left this man. And I was in a partnership with someone who I believe to be my twin flame. And when I finally left that relationship, I left that relationship with bruises all over my body. I left that relationship with bruises emotionally. He would put his hands on me and he would, emotionally call me names. And from the very first time he hit me, was actually on New Year's. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember in that moment saying, I'm going to leave this man. Yeah, I remember in that moment, I felt like I didn't have the awareness. I didn't have the strength. Like I physically at that time did not have the strength. I was 24 at this point. I did not have the strength to leave him yet. But I told myself that day, I will leave this man. And it took me exactly 3 months from the time he hit me for the very first time until the time I left him for me to finally leave him. And it was really hard for me to leave him because the truth is, I really did love him. I loved his heart, and I believed that he had some problems and he had some anger and he had some things that he needed to work through. But I genuinely loved him. And I walked away from that relationship, not because I didn't love him, but because every time he'd put his hands on me, every time he'd scream at me, every time he'd call me names, it would create this story inside my head that said, Genna, you're not loved. Genna, you're not wanted. Genna, you're not worthy. Genna, you're not good. And the minute that those stories happened in my head that went against my own self-love for myself, which meant that I could not put this love for this man above my love for myself. So I left. And one of the very last things I said to him was the quote that I say all the time now, is that my love for you is unconditional, but your presence in my reality is conditional because it's going against my self-love for myself, and I need to choose to love myself more. And so I left. And so I want to give you guys the practice to practice unconditional love, even when it hurts, even when it's painful, and to be selective, to have boundaries, to have self-awareness, that you can still love someone, but this person may not be someone that you want in your reality. You may decide, I don't want Hitler in my reality. I don't want to like Hitler. But I can love that he was a leader and leave it at that. So I just want to go through a couple tips, and then I want to read through the comments, and I want to answer any questions you have, and then we'll do a meditation. So I went on a long tangent, as I always do. I hope that's okay. So if this resonated, make sure to hit follow if you're not yet following me. I go live every Sunday. But some tips to cultivate self-love is, one, I talked about already, self-love. Begin with self-love. Acknowledge your own worth. Nurture your own self-compassion through meditation, through affirmations, and to engage in practices that heal those wounds that you may be holding. Number 2 is to cultivate deep compassion and empathy. And I actually forgot to dawn on that in my rant, is the way in which that we can cultivate this unconditional love is to have compassion, to have kindness, to have empathy. So to recognize that, again, using this Hitler analogy, that Hitler probably did the things that he did because he was hurting himself. And this is big, I forgot to mention this, is that hurt people, but love people. And so no person puts their hands on someone. No person abuses someone unless they are internally abusing themselves, unless they are internally hurting themselves. And the way in which that the voices in people's head, whether someone's saying, I love myself, or someone's saying, I hate myself, is a voice that they heard as a child. It's the subconscious programming from childhood. And so while we may not love the things that Hitler did, we can have compassion, we can have empathy. That I don't actually know the history of Hitler. I have no idea what the history of Hitler is. But I would imagine that he probably grew up in a violent home. He probably grew up in an abusive home. He grew up in a home that taught him separation. He didn't know love, so he couldn't give love. And this is huge. I want you guys to literally write this down. If you're taking notes, or remember this for the rest of your life, is that people can't give what they don't have. People can't love you more than they love themselves. People cannot love more than the capacity that they have for themselves. Love is something that is taught. Love is something that is taught. And so often we're looking for other people to love us, and we're sitting there wondering, why don't they love us? Why aren't they more compassionate? Why aren't they more kind? They don't have the capacity to do that. So we're looking for love in all of the wrong places. Okay? Next, I just want to go through these really quick because I went on a rant, but mindful presence. So we talked about that in the first week, is to really be in presence with yourself, to be in presence with the stillness of your light and your darkness, and to also engage in moments of stillness throughout your day that allows you to truly see and feel the presence of others. To really just be in observation mode. Okay? And then engage in acts of kindness and service. Perform small, genuine acts of service, of love, of kindness that reflect your love and your care. Integrate spiritual practices, so meditation, mindfulness, journaling, moving your body. And then the last thing to cultivate unconditional love is true authenticity. And I believe this is the most important part, is to be so authentically yourself, to share your authentic self with others, and to invite deeper connections into your life. So often we mask who we are because we have this feel of not being accepted, of not being loved, and not being wanted, of not being seen, of not being adored. And it's my promise to you that when you are being your authentic self, when you are being truly who you are, unapologetically you, then you're going to attract the relationships that are a frequency and a match to you. So if you're sitting there feeling like the connections that you have, the friends that you have are not filling your soul, I would challenge you and I would ask you, where are you not being authentically you? Where are you putting on a mask? Where are you putting on a filter? Where are you literally putting on a filter on social media on your pictures? Be authentically you. Bravely, confidently, boldly. And when you are authentically you, then you're going to attract relationships that are authentically them. And it's going to cultivate more unconditional love. So, deep breath in, deep breath out. So, I would love I love all of these comments. I want to read through the comments. Let me know if this resonated with you guys. Put any questions you guys have in the comments, and I'm going to answer them. And then we're going to go into a little meditation before we end. So, and also put in the chat what resonated today. What did I say that helped? What is something that you guys are taking with you? And then your challenge for this week is to love others unconditionally by choosing one person that you're struggling with in your life and finding one thing that you love about them and practicing that throughout your week. That's your challenge. So, they are as damaged as I am. We all deserve love. I love his energy. Just think, if Hitler's message was love instead of hate, what a great world we would live in. Absolutely, Michelle. And that's the thing is, there are so many people who can influence other people. And this is why this mission of unconditional love is so important, because hurt people hurt people. But love people. And the way in which we have a better world is by loving yourself so much that you radiate love so much outwardly that you then can't help but to be contagious, to pass the love on, to allow others to pass the love on, to let others pass the love on, to let others pass the love on, so that we're all feeling love. And Jiro, hello. How did you attract a good man after an abusive relationship? Jiro said, love as healthy as possible, healthy lived, attack healthy people, make the healthiest choices, including giving yourself time to heal, building the awareness you need to know difference between hurt people and healthy people. We're all hurt, but we for to heal ourselves in difference. Yeah. So how did I attract a good man after an abusive relationship? So I spent my whole entire life, I'm going to get vulnerable and open right now. I hope that's okay with you guys. I spent my whole life looking for love outside of me. Since I was literally a little girl on the playground, I was looking for my soulmate. I've had so many beautiful relationships. I've had so many beautiful partners. And that abusive relationship was my final straw. It was my last relationship that I was in a committed monogamous partnership with before I decided to meet my husband. Before this relationship that I talked about, this abusive one, I found myself in relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship. And the very first step that that helped me in my healing from this abusive relationship was finding the lesson and finding the wisdom in this relationship. I decided to make this abusive relationship that I was in the best relationship that I've ever had. I changed it in my mind. And the reason that I decided to this day to look back at that relationship and decide that was the best relationship I ever had next to my husband for a positive reason is because that relationship taught me to love myself. That relationship was the final message that I had from the universe that said, Genna Rose, if you don't start loving yourself, you're going to keep attracting people who aren't going to love you. This is your message. And it actually wasn't my final message. I actually had that message multiple times after that. But that was my last big relationship. And so I decided to turn this relationship that was abusive into a beautiful relationship that was filled with lessons, that was filled with teachings, that was filled with messages that would then guide me. And so after that relationship, I chose to finally be alone with myself. After years of looking for love, that final hit, literally speaking, that final hit was the hit that I needed to finally knock me into self-love, where I decided that never would I get back into a romantic monogamous partnership until I knew that was the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And so I went on a self-love journey where I did not get into relationship. I did not get into partnership. I met my husband about, God, it was probably a year and a half after I met this abusive partner. Yet, by the time I met my husband, I was so into my self-love journey that I didn't even recognize that he was my future husband. He became my best friend. He became my best friend. And when my husband said to me in the coffee shop that we met at, I like you, I think I like you, I friend zoned him. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't feel the same. And the reason I didn't feel the same is because I didn't have the love to give. I knew I loved him. I actually knew I loved him when I met him. But I knew that I couldn't be a partner to him because I first needed to be a partner to myself. And so to answer your question, how I attracted a good man after an abusive relationship is that I did the healing work. I turned this abusive relationship into the best relationship filled with lessons and teachings and wisdom that I needed. I turned my pain into my purpose. I then chose to be in self-love. I chose to date myself. I chose to love myself. I chose to put myself first before anyone else. That's how I did that. So I hope that helps. And if you need any more help with that, feel free to send me a message. If anyone is interested, feel free to send me a message. You can find me on any of the social media platforms. This live will have a replay after on YouTube, so you can watch the replay if you missed any of this. But feel free to send me a message at any point, and I'm happy to guide you and help you. So, do we have any other questions before we go into a quick meditation? And then I'm going to have to end because I hear my little boy crying downstairs. So let me know, how is this for you? And again, I challenge you guys this week to find one person who you struggle to love and find one thing that you love about them. What is one thing that you can love about them? What is one thing that you can love about them? Let me know. Do we have any more questions before we go into a meditation? Any other questions, everyone? Put in the chat, what is one thing that resonated with you today? What is one thing that resonated with you guys today? Was today helpful? Was today useful? Let me know. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I'm going to... Everyone, you want to meet my son? Is he okay? Everyone, this is my husband, Levi. This is my baby. Can you say hi? We're going to meditate. Can you say hello? Say hi, everyone. You want to meditate with us? All right. You good? Yeah. Have you been emotional? Everyone say hi. This is Zeffie. This is everyone. You feel a little sad? This is Zeffie, everyone. Should we lead them in a little meditation? All right, guys. I'm going to do a quick meditation now that I have him. Like I said, he has been sick. He's having some tummy stuff going on. So sometimes I have to just be in mommy mode. So I'm going to leave you guys in just a real quick ending meditation, and then I got to get into mommy mode. I apologize to end. But so I'm going to invite us to just close down our eyes real quick. Place your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Taking another deep breath in. And imagine that this light that we cultivated at the beginning of our life is all around you. Imagine that this light is filling up every part of your body, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Imagine that this light is filling up all of the places that you love yourself, activating within you all that you love, all that you like, all that you prefer, as well as activating love for all of the places that you don't love yourself, all of the places that you struggle. And imagine that this light is bringing compassion, empathy, kindness to all of those places that you don't prefer. And breathe into that. And breathe out. Recognizing that all of these things that you do not prefer about yourself are keeping you safe. They're keeping you protected. Breathe into that. And breathe out. And then bring to your mind one person. Just one person that you are struggling with love. And picture them. Bring them into your mind. Bring them into your mind. And just send them compassion. Send them kindness. Send them love. Recognize that they are on their own path, that maybe they didn't have the love. They weren't taught love. They weren't given love. And no matter what you feel for them, I invite you to send them love from your heart. Sending them compassion. Sending them kindness. Wishing them to be more kind. Wishing them to be more caring. Imagining all of them coming into love. Telling them that they are worthy of love. That they are deserving of love. That they are love. And breathe into that. And breathe out. And then finally, imagine this person sending love out. Imagine that this person that you struggle to love, you now love a little bit more. And imagine that they now, instead of sending out hatred, instead of being mean or rude or abusive, imagine that they now are loving. They are being kind. They are being caring. They are being compassionate. And breathe into that. And breathe out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then when you are ready, bringing all of this love back to yourself. And repeating the affirmation. I am worthy of love. And so is everyone else. I love myself unconditionally. And I love the world unconditionally. Breathing in. And breathing out. And when you're ready, opening up your eyes. And coming back into this space. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Zephy and I say welcome back. Say welcome back, everyone. All right, everyone. Well, I apologize. I have to go back into mommy mode now. This little love needs his mama. And I can't be a love coach for the world if I can't first show him love. The only way for me to have the world be a more loving place is to love my son and to teach him and to guide him and to show him what love means. And to me, love means putting him first. Sometimes money will come, money will go, but our relationship will stay forever. And this is the most important love for me. And so I invite you guys to come into what's the most important love for you. What do you love the most? Maybe it's your child, maybe it's people, maybe it's money, maybe it's health. There's no right answer. But I invite you to put that first and to be authentically you and know that when you are focused on your highest love, everything else will come into play. So, can you say bye? Thank you guys, everyone, for joining. If you guys are not yet following me, please make sure to follow. If this was valuable to you guys and this was worth your time and your energy, feel free to leave a donation of gratitude. I currently have 2 spots available for one-on-one mentorship and coaching. You can check out my website, GennaRoseGiannetti.com, or find me on social media, Genna Rose Giannetti. I have a community on Facebook, Higher Love community, that you can check out. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you next week for another love challenge. Thanks for joining. Say bye. Can you say bye, everyone? Bye, everyone.